I just threw my phone in an angry.
It's okay. It's okay. Save them. Yep.
She doesn't trust us.
No, I don't.
I'll try not to.
Face. Exactly. Jackie was like, watch that. Okay.
Yeah. I've never sat before.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. My name is Candace Thompson, Superintendent of Education, and I'm honored to MC our celebration today. Although the land acknowledgement would have been read at the beginning of a meeting that we've had in this space, we're doing so again to welcome our new guests into this space and recognize today's ceremony celebrating Transgender Day of Visibility here within the Durham District School Board. The Durham District School Board acknowledges that many Indigenous nations have relationships, both historic and modern, with the territories upon which our school board and schools are located. Today, this area is home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island. We acknowledge that the Durham region forms a part of the traditional and treaty territory of the Mississaugas of Scugog Island First Nation, the Mississaugas peoples, and the treaty territory of the Chippewas of Georgina Island First Nation. It is on these ancestral and treaty lands that we teach, learn, and live. The Durham District School Board recognizes Indigenous rights are distinct. In the exercise of those rights, Indigenous staff and students shall not be subjected to actions with the aim or effect of depriving these distinct rights. The Durham District School Board is committed to learning and working environments that center human rights and equity and are safe, welcoming, respectful, equitable, accessible, inclusive, and free from discrimination. The DDSB recognizes the historical and ongoing oppression that 2S LGBTQI people face across our greater society, including education systems, and commits to moving forward with the intention to acknowledge past traumas and build a system that celebrates, supports, respects, values, and embraces 2S LGBTQI peoples. Transgender Day of Visibility was founded in 2009 by transgender activist Rachel Crandall with the aim of highlighting the contributions of transgender people and to bring attention to the ongoing fight for their rights across the globe. Before this day, the only internationally recognized event centered on the transgender community was the Transgender Day of Remembrance, which focuses on remembering victims of transphobic violence. Crandall recognized the need to celebrate the achievements and successes of the transgender community and believed that their stories should not only be told in the context of hate crime. The day serves as a celebration of vibrant transgender community that has made incredible strides, breaking down barriers in various fields such as television, film, theater, politics, sports, business, education, and many more. The Transgender Day of Visibility serves as a crucial reminder to both staff and students that transgender people are not only thriving, but also making significant contributions across all aspects of society and are a vital and integral part of the Durham District School Board community. Today we're going to be holding the ceremony in this place due to inclement weather. We do have a tent set up outside for those that would like to go outside for the actual flag raising, but we will also be live streaming in this space. I'd like to first bring forward Jim Markowski, Associate Director of Equitable Education, to bring greetings.
Thank you, Candace, and I wanted to start off by just thanking everyone for joining us today. I realize that our central staff, I want to thank you actually personally for being flexible and sharing this space with us during your meeting. It was great to see. I've seen students in the space, I've seen family members, I see staff, I see community members that have joined us. And I do want to send regrets. Director Camille Williams-Taylor does have another commitment this morning, and I wanted to take an opportunity to speak on her behalf in the district in recognition of the Transgender Day of Visibility. To truly support transgender inclusion, we must recognize the inherent dignity and worth of every human being, including people with diverse gender identities and expressions. The Durham District School Board has taken significant steps towards fostering a culture of inclusivity and respect through its human rights, anti-discrimination, and anti-racism policy and procedures. This policy focuses on proactive actions to promote, protect, and uphold human rights and to identify, prevent, and address all forms of discrimination. This includes challenging cisnormativity, cisgenderism, transphobia, and anti-trans hate within the DDSB's learning and working environments. In the DDSB, we're actively working to put policy into practice and make it real for students, families, and employees. We honor and affirm the multiple and intersecting identities that students hold. This recognition is not divisive or harmful, but promotes rich, thriving classrooms and student well-being. The district recognizes the unique experiences of, barriers for, and negative biases, stereotypes, and assumptions about two-spirit, trans, transitioning, and other non-binary, gender non-conforming, gender-expansive students, parents and guardians, employees, and community members. The district is taking steps to create safe and welcoming learning environments for all students and staff through the implementation of our district's human rights, inclusive design and accommodation procedure, respecting privacy and confidentiality, using chosen names, pronouns, and accessing washrooms and other gendered spaces that align with gender identity are crucial steps to ensure that transgender, gender nonconforming students and staff feel safe and included at school and work. And we also know what we're doing is not enough. In addition, we're supporting educators in creating inclusive and welcoming classrooms for all students, including those with intersectional identities, by providing resources and lessons that help students see themselves and understand each other better, debunk discriminatory stereotypes and assumptions, and help build a sense of community that fosters mutual respect, care, and empathy in all our spaces. Using inclusive terminology in schools and moving away from gendered language is also an important step in creating a more inclusive learning environment. In general, we're rethinking the ways things have been done and trying to shift cis-normative practices that are not serving everyone, particularly transgender students. This kind of introspection and changing of practice is essential in creating a truly equitable and inclusive learning environment. We want to take a moment to express our heartfelt gratitude for the incredible work that our educators and support staff do, who support our school-based GSAs. We know providing this support to students is not an easy task, and we're deeply thankful for your dedication, passion, and hard work. We recognize that you're often the safe and caring adults our students turn to when they need support, and we want you to know how much you are valued and appreciated. Your tireless efforts to create welcoming and inclusive environment for all students make a real difference in their lives, and we're proud of the work that you do each and every day. We're also grateful for the many community agencies and partners that serve as wraparound support for students as families, as well as staff that are here with us today. The DDSB is committed to continuing to work in partnership with our community agencies and service providers and our community partners to grow our understanding of how we can improve upon our service. In the current climate, where we're seeing an increase in anti-trans hate and rhetoric in our communities across the country and around the world, our partners continue to help us stand up for trans rights, and we want to thank you for holding us accountable. At the same time, we want to remind all employees in our system of their duty-bearer responsibilities to support students and staff who identify as transgender. It is not enough for a few individuals to shoulder this responsibility alone. We have a shared responsibility to create an environment that is safe, welcoming, and supportive for everyone. We believe that when we work together and support each other, we can make real, concrete changes that directly affect the lives of students, employees, and community members. And on behalf of the district, we know that we have more work to do, and that together we can make intentional efforts to prevent transphobia and promote trans visibility today and every day. Thank you.
I now ask Sean McCormick, System Lead for Anti-Oppression Human Rights Teaching and Learning K-12, to come forward. Sorry about that. Change of agenda. Shane Stagg, if he was here. Perfect, thank you, Shane Stagg. Ontario Secondary School Federation, OSSDF. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Shane Stagg, representing teachers, occasional teachers, and professional student services personnel here in Durham. District 13, Ontario Secondary School Teachers Federation, has a long history of activism, supporting our queer staff and students here in Durham. We're very proud of the work we initiated years ago to get our gay-straight alliances operating in our secondary schools. Today, as we raise the trans flag, recognizing discrimination faced by transgender people worldwide, as well as celebrating their contributions to society, District 13 recognizes that much more needs to be done. We are committed to doing the work necessary to end violence against all transgender colleagues, students, and communities we serve. District 13 recognizes the significant harm rooted in our colonial past and the impacts of colonialism that continue to this day. We must work hard to fight the strict binaries of gender rooted in patriarchal colonial systems. We must fight hypermasculinity and hyperfemininity. We must challenge that gender is rooted in biology. We must challenge the cultural norms of blueness and pinkness, defining our expression and genders. All sexism, homophobia, and transphobia are rooted in these strict binaries, and they must end. As we raise the transgender flag today, we gather in celebration of the richness, diversity, and gifts the trans community offer to us all. We have a responsibility to continue doing the work to fight transphobia, and D13 is fully committed to doing so. In finishing, I'll offer that a couple of weeks ago, when there were those who would have chosen to bring a message of hate to this room, we all set out to support our LGBTQ students. Some of them arrived that evening, and what they found was 300 community members on the front sidewalk delivering a message that our schools are safe for them. And that's a partnership we can all be proud of. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Shane. And now I ask Pamela Downward from Elementary Teachers Federation of Ontario, ETFO. Thank you.
It's like, oh, I made it. Which one? I guess the one with the light. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much. My name is Pamela Downward. My pronouns are she, her. I am so thankful to have the opportunity today to speak on this important and significant day, Transgender Day of Visibility. On behalf of Durham elementary teachers, I want you to know that we stand in solidarity with the transgender community. We believe that all people should be free and safe to be who they are in the world without discrimination or fear. We applaud the board for recognizing this day, and we also know that it is just one step of many that needs to be taken to create truly inclusive working and learning spaces. We look forward to a day when all staff, students, and community feel safe to take up space. Thank you, and peace.
Thank you, Pam. And I now ask Jake Farr from PFLAG to please come forward with greetings.
Good morning. My name is Jake. I use he, they pronouns, and I'm here representing PFLAG Canada Durham Region. We've been in partnership with DDSB for quite a while, and I'm a little bit overwhelmed this morning, sorry. I go to a lot of these flag raisings for the last probably 10 years. This is the largest one we've ever had, and I just want to say that as a trans person who has a lot of privilege, I am able to be visible. I'm able to speak in front of you this morning. Today is a big... I take great honor in that because I'm allowed to do that. And there are so many folks in our community who are still hiding from family, from school, from all those things. And today I hear DDSB in the movement forward. So it's not just about educating, it's about unlearning. It's about unlearning all those things that we've been told all the years, all the social media, all those things that you didn't know what you didn't know, right? And so now we can unlearn, just as we are with other things, we can unlearn that transphobia isn't about just saying you hate someone, that you don't agree with it, but it's actually unlearning the fact that, like, if you erase trans people, people of gender diversity, you're erasing thousands of years of history. Trans people are not a trend, it is not new. And so if we can unlearn that, we can start to maybe really break down the barriers that comes forward. And so I'm just asking you today, I understand that gender is very hard to understand, because if you've never had to question it, you've never thought about it. So as you're unlearning, you know, please open up your hearts and ask yourself, right, if however you identify, so if you're a person who identifies on the binary, ask yourself, how do I describe myself as a man or a woman without using my body parts? You're not allowed to do that. That's where you're going to start to understand what gender is. That's where you're going to understand what maybe a trans person might feel when you ask them, how do you know you're trans, right? How do you know you're not trans, right? So as we're doing that, I'm asking you today, as you're sitting here and you see the flag being raised, that it's not just about showing the visibility, but it's about understanding that the invisibility is really the problem. It's like saying we don't see color, we don't see disabilities. When we just say, oh, that's okay, you do you. Actually, let's raise it up. When we raise that flag today, let's raise it for visibility, and let's do away with the invisibility, right? So I just ask you, I'm so overwhelmed by the amount of people here today. I appreciate that. And as the other gentleman said, last 2 weeks ago, we had to be here to show that we are visible. And we will continue to do that as PFLAG Canada Durham Region. And we offer that whenever that's going on, please join us. Please come out, because we need everybody to stand up at this time. So not just today, but it needs to be all the time, right? So thank you for this, and I really appreciate that space. And to all those folks out there who are trans, gender expansive, who are hiding, it's okay, you can come out. We're here for you.
Well, thanks so much, Jake. That was very powerful indeed, and gave us a lot to think about. What I'm going to ask is, for those that would like to proceed outside for the flag raising, you can do so. There's some tents set up out there, and we'll close our ceremony outside. But for those that want to stay inside, we do have a live stream and can stay here, and I'll ask Sean to close out the ceremony here for those that are inside. Thank you.
projectors just take a second.
So in closing, we just want to thank everyone for being here this morning and showing solidarity with the trans community. One thing that was clearly stated throughout all the speeches today, we want to thank all the speakers, is that although there's a lot of work happening and people of the trans community and many different historically marginalized communities are feeling a lot safer, there's still much work that needs to be done, and we recognize that. And we want to just reaffirm our commitment to continuing to do the work so that all folks can feel seen, heard, and valued, not only in our system, but in our community. And we know part of that is the construct of the world around us through social media and the imagery that we see in those spaces that sort of feed into pop culture. So one of the provocations for learning this morning was thinking about our own little bubbles in terms of the media that we consume. And we just want to have folks think, as we conclude this ceremony, to really start critically thinking about what's in your bubble. What are you streaming? What are you listening to? Who are you listening to? What are you watching? And how is that feeding into stereotypes that we need to dismantle? Or how is that affirming our new beliefs and valuing human rights and anti-oppression? So to do that outside of the boardroom, for those of you who are here in person, we have those invitations for learning. Continue to come together, reflect, and talk about those notions, because that's one of the first steps in terms of dismantling them. So again, we thank you, and for those of you who are watching it via live stream, we encourage you to have those conversations in your departments, in your classrooms, in your schools, in your staff meetings, to continue the discussion, because we know this work is important work that can't end and won't end until we completely dismantle anti-oppression in all its forms. So thank you all so much, and have a great rest of your day. So just a reminder to our essential staff folk that we'll be moving right into a break now for about 5 minutes, so please help yourself to refreshments and take a look at the invitations for learning just outside the boardroom.